We are going to get into some nonsensical hypocrisy. We can all be hypocrites sometimes, that's for sure. This one was a little much. And we're going to get into it right after this intro.
This video is fair use. It is transformative and is protected under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is needed for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, reporting, teaching, and more.
Let them talk about me. But it's so funny to me because the whole personal insult thing that they do to try to it's confusing to me. It really is. It's just kind of like, is this, They're weird to me. It's weird to me. There is so many people that they've had issues with, or I'm not a part of that. I don't have any history there.
So if you're new here, nonsense, well, she doesn't fuck with them groups of people. She likes to say that a lot about all kinds of people. Right now, I think she's talking about Soup, though. And I'm sure some theys and thems surrounding Soup. And Soup is Stinson Has the Soup, and I will put a link to her channel in the description, along with the other links to these streams that we're going to clip here today.
Nothing. So again, I don't have to. They can talk. That's not what I'm saying. They can dislike me, but she is solely doing it because a few people that I at one time considered friends are over there like, oh, here's a funny thing about the slop.
Nonsense, you literally didn't finish your sentence. Anyway, when she says slop, she's referring to Soup. So funny. How original. Anyway, so Nonsense started to say that the only reason that Soup covers Nonsense is because there's some people over in her chat that used to be friends with Nonsense. Now, that's ridiculous, and you know it, Nonsense. It's nonsense. I'm just going to rewind that so that we can hear it again, just that short part there.
She is solely doing it because a few people that I at one time considered friends are over there like, oh, here's a funny thing about the slop. She's so against us calling out BJ's stuff, dogpiling BJ. But yet she is trying to be in contact with people at one time that had access to my real life.
There's that access word again. But Nonsense, don't we all kind of move around here on this app? Like, once you leave somewhere because you don't like that person anymore, it's often that we want to find a new home or see where we fit in. Find a new place that we feel comfortable, where we actually agree with the creator's morals. And often people who share similar morals, not agreeing on everything, but similar, they often congregate together in different chats and hang out together. And I don't know if they talk behind the scenes or not. People that used to be your friends with access to your life, I have no idea. But even if they did, who cares? Because what I'm about to show you, you did a lot worse, girl. And it's not necessarily that it's even a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. But what you did is just a lot worse in that regard. Like overstepping, in a way. If you're looking at it that way. Now, I don't. I think that's just the way our community works.
She is trying to be in contact with people at one time that had access to my real life. Now tell me that's not kind of fucking suspicious. That she's reaching out to people or wants to communicate with people and or is communicating with people that had access to my real life. I don't even know a thing about this person. Not at all. Not a thing. And she's like wanting to, I mean, you have at it. Trust and believe, have at it, because that's wild, but go on. I just don't know that group of people. So when people come to me, a lot of people have asked me, like, why does she hate you? I have no clue, because she can.
Yes, she can. And so can anyone. Anyone can review anyone on here that they think is ridiculous, is a liar, is a hypocrite, is fake, has a hero complex, any and all the things. I mean, we got lol cows, we got the fakest of the fake, we got all kinds of stuff. We got clown shows. Sometimes we review people because we like them. I don't think that's the case here, though. Yeah, so she can review you for whatever reason she wants to. Are you taking it personally? Or is she just reviewing you? Hard to say, I guess. I just don't think she likes you. And I do think your thin skin is showing.
Truly, I don't give a
Yeah, okay, sure you don't. Okay, Jan.
but oh yeah, Revival, she said a lot about you. And poor Kyle is tortured. So let's torture Kyle some more. Good morning, everybody. It's actually not that one, Beth, that is doing the most lying and creating chaos and completely bold-faced lying. It's not Nunya this time. I mean, she's over there helping out, but it's actually Amethyst. Never thought I'd say that. Sure have. Poked for months. Blocked before I went to Florida in April. Continued to poke and poke and poke. Like that's somebody I invited in my home. Had around my family. Yeah. Be careful. People are what they show you.
Oh, they sure are. Plenty of masks are falling, slipping slowly. Were they ever really there, those morals? Or was it all a charade? And the mask is just now slipping? You tell me in the comments. Alright, so a little recap here. So Nonsense seems disturbed, upset, maybe even hurt that her ex-friend, Amethyst, is in the chats with Soup and people that talk about her. And her and Amethyst were quite close at some time. And I think she feels slightly the same way about Nunya too. Maybe not as much, but her and Amethyst were close. I know her and Nunya were close at one time, and now they're in Soup's chat. And she thinks that that's the only reason that Soup is reviewing her. That's what I took out of it anyway. But I would like to go back to a time where Nonsense was friendly, and still is friendly, with BJ's ex-friends. And that seems okay. They don't seem to have a problem doing that. And I think these types of things happen on here in our community, in other communities. It's normal. You leave somewhere and a creator may speak about you, talk it about you, and maybe you as a subscriber or even a small channel holder, maybe you want to go on someone else's panel and give your side of the story. Or maybe you don't. Maybe you just want to hang out in the place that you now feel comfortable in after leaving the place you stopped being comfortable in. I just don't see a problem with that. But Nonsense here, well, she invited BJ's ex, well, I don't know, at one point I heard they were best friends for a few months there anyway, BJ's ex co-host and good friend, we'll say, Mallory on her panel. So, yeah, how's that any different? It's probably a little bit worse, right? Because you're inviting her on your panel. I don't know. But I bet that didn't make BJ feel too good, did it? So we have a similar situation here. So Soup would be the Nonsense of the situation, and let's say Amethyst would be the Mallory of the situation. Except Amethyst isn't even on the panel. She's just in the chat. So far, anyway. Sometimes I think people forget what community they're actually in. It's basically drama. A little bit of crama and drama. And a lot of drama. But these things happen over and over again. People fall out, then people each come out with their side, and they end up on panels talking about it, or in a chat talking about it. It is what it is. Whether it's right, whether it's wrong, I don't know. I just know it's what happens in our community. Constantly. A lot. I just don't know why it's such a problem when it happens to Nonsense, but it's not a problem when she's doing that thing to someone else, if that makes sense. Alright, so we've got Silence No More with Malicious Intent 2024, and that is August 5th, just over a year ago.
She has said that she could actually say it's factual now, so...
Giving her a reason.
Yeah, but I also knew this was coming.
Yeah.
So it was more of like, I knew I was going to be saying something at some point.
You're just ready to be heard and you're frustrated, and it's about time. And I think this is going to be, again, this is not to in any way, shape, or form harm anybody on a personal level, but it is a very personal conversation that will be had, which is not typical for this channel at all. But this is important. This is somebody that I have grown to really enjoy, speaking of Mal, And it's not because of my dislike of Brittany. It has actually nothing to do with that. Kyle's even in here to support Mel because we've both grown to really enjoy her. He likes to give her shit about her medicine at night.
Yeah.
But it's not, we're not hate bonding. It'll be seen as that way, which is fine. It'll be seen however you want it to be seen, but just know that it will be passion.
Well, there you go. It's not hate bonding. It's going to be seen that way, but it's actually not. So there's that.
Well, and I think hate bonding is something that she utilizes to try and make herself feel better about it.
Correct.
Because the way that I look at it is when I was over there were a lot of people that were off limits. And when I say off limits, I don't mean necessarily she said, you can't do that. Although she did say that a handful of times, and I do have a screenshot of that.
Well, that sounds familiar to me too, because when you constantly cram into people's heads, oh, I don't mess with those people. Those people are bad. These are terrible people. I would never, ever hang out with them, and I never have. When you say that over and over and over and over again, you're basically telling your audience how awful these people are. And maybe they won't even go watch anymore, because you also say, oh, I never watch them. I would never watch them. So, in a way, this does sound quite familiar to me.
But it was more of like, these are the people that she was telling us behind the scenes were horrendous people, doing all this real life stuff, doing everything. And then when you actually leave, oh, those are for Wolfie.
That's for Wolfie.
But then,
Oh, and Wolfie is another ex-BJ friend mod. So there you go. I like these people. I like Wolfie. I don't have a problem with Mal. Do I like everything they've done in the past? No, but I don't have a problem with these people.
but then when you actually leave and you're just trying to figure out what is true and what is not true, you obviously go and have these conversations because in your mind, you're just like, well, what the hell happened? Like,
Wow, could it possibly be that that's what Amethyst is doing? Having conversations with people, finding out that these people aren't such bad people, aren't so horrible, and perhaps her morals line up more with those people than they did with you, Nonsense? Maybe Nunya's kind of felt the same way. I don't know, I'm just speculating here. But I do see the hypocrisy of it all. Maybe even a little karma.
how do you, like, you're just literally trying to be like, who was this person that I was just best friends with for the last however long? And then you go have conversations with these people, and everyone that she's had these things about are genuinely good people. And some of them may have done bad things. Most of them have not. And it's just, I don't know. To me, it's not hate bonding. It's Brittany leading me to genuine people to find out the truth that I now have genuine friendships with because we're both good people, if that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. I agree. I think Nonsense does too.
Yes, absolutely. It does make sense for sure. That's why I think it's really confusing too, because you really want to just be done with this. Like you really do. And it will continue, unfortunately. This will amp up. It will be turned into drama. That's not the intent of it, of course, from this side of things. But it's going to involve some drama. It's going to create drama because that's the natural course of things. But it's also, people deserve the right to tell their story in their time. But again, the bigger perspective of this is at one point in time, you sat right next to this person. And this is where we are today.
It was more than that too. It was, from my side, a genuine friendship. As you guys can see, there was a lot behind the scenes that I'll show you guys receipts for. So this is something where I'm doing this because I've seen the hurt that she can bring. And I've had a lot of conversations over the last few weeks with a lot of different people who have been hurt by her.
Sounds familiar, yet again.
And the thing that she doesn't realize is that it's all very personal hurt towards us because we all were very personally connected to her, where to her, it's just another group of people gone. And I have said that the reason that I'm doing this is not to get people to stop watching. It's not even to get people to, do anything, really. It's more of just, I'm trying to hope that more people will not take everything she says as fact and does their own research.
That is great advice, Mal. I 100% agree. And I don't mean that sarcastically, even though the lady's face in the GIF thing is kind of creepy. I'm not being sarcastic, that's all.
And is just aware of kind of how she maneuvers things, hoping that if her current mods are listening, that they protect themselves. I'm tired of people being hurt, tired of people leaving and having to feel what I felt. When I left, I literally laid in bed crying and throwing up for 2 weeks before I did anything.
We're going to break those habits, just saying.
What?
We're going to break those habits. Grown adults just got to handle adult business. And by the way, when I said we got to break that habit, I mean you taking things. I don't want to ever see you that impacted by people again. Like my mama.
Yeah.
Now, let's not forget about the time that Nonsense trolled Brittany into thinking that they were going to share all the things about reality, when in fact it ended up being a stream with a bunch of BJ's ex-mod friends, and they ended up doing a fundraiser. But they had her trolled and scared and worried that all this stuff was going to come out. So you do have a bunch of BJ's old mods and friends in your chat that you are now friends with, yet here you are, for some reason, thinking Amethyst is doing something horribly wrong, and so is Soup, for talking to each other. Interesting. And here it is. I don't want to take up too much time listening to all this. I think you guys have gotten the point already.
You're not going to go after the people that support my channel. She's going at me and Yvette right now. Of course she is. Slime ball piece of crap. You know what? Let her go at me. I don't care. But she's not going to attack my friends.
I wasn't going to attack your friends. In fact, I think you recognize some of these avatars up here, don't you? So last night I got her all amped up because I scheduled our live stream that was coming for today. And we are going to touch a little bit on BJ just right quick, but truly what we are going to be discussing has nothing to do with any of these people. It's actually a very serious topic and exposing the reality of how many Indigenous women and men do not get attention in the media. That's what we're actually here for. That's why we're doing a fundraiser for the Native American Rights Foundation Fund. And it's something that these ladies brought to me and asked if we could do. So with that, I'm going to speak her piece.
And that was a great fundraiser. No issues there. I appreciate fundraisers, of course. I just thought this was showing more of the hypocrisy. Why can't Amethyst, Nunya, or anyone who's left your channel go to someone else's chat, even if they are talking about you? They clearly left for a reason. They don't like you anymore, I guess, for whatever their reasons are. If they want to come out and tell us, that's on them. If they don't, that's on them too. If they want to do it in private, again, on them. But you are no different. You've done it to BJ, and there's that. That's all I really need to say about this. Thank you all for hanging out with me. I appreciate you, and we'll go out with a clip, of course.
I don't fuck with those people. I don't fuck with Discords. I don't do that. Like, it is what it is. I've never interacted with that group of people. Still don't watch them, anything. And then, it just snowballed from there.
Welcome to the carnival, ladies and gentlemen.
Exactly.
Step right up, step right up.
With that group of people, I tried to kind of just stay away. But he was in places like...
What a carnival, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, play the games. We'll pretend you win. You're a hardy soul, a fine specimen. Step within the circus tent. Let's begin. Get ready for the ride of your life. I mean business, like the sharp side of a knife. I'm the ringleader. Mostly you don't see me, cause I stay out of the spotlight. It's easy, believe me, cause you're so distracted by what's in center stage being overacted. The ropes and elastic, the sawdust and sequins, they tell a story you all just believe in. You're so gullible, as long as it's colorful, bright and shiny. Yes, isn't it wonderful? Stay comfortable, relax, sit and watch it while I creep behind your backs and pick pockets. I don't stop at nickels and dimes when I want your time and the thoughts from your mind. Don't worry, it's fine. Stop looking backstage. Why you so curious? Act your age.